So, Hans, today that White House briefing with the President of the United States, they gave us a lot more detail about the federal government's plans and their recommendations. And the president himself changed dramatically in tone. What happened?
Well, the details matter here, and we'll get into those a little bit, but I do think this press conference will be remembered for the change in tone from the president. He seemed to acknowledge that coronavirus is going to be with us for some time, July, August. The specific provisions that they were announcing today, the guidelines, are 15-day guidelines, but clearly they are preserving their ability to extend those. The president talked about the prospect of a recession. He talked about how this virus is a challenge for everyone, even given the opportunity to go after some of his normal enemies, his normal adversaries. He declined. Even had something nice to say about Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, the Washington Post, a frequent whipping boy for the president. So his tone was markedly different. They're getting new information in at all times. There are certain things that he didn't do, and he didn't extend this broad curfew that there had been some speculation about. The president made it very clear that what they're doing is offering guidelines, not directives. And the biggest of those guidelines that gives you a sense of what they're looking for is stay at home, but also gatherings that aren't bigger than 10. And it was just yesterday that the CDC advised no gatherings bigger than 50. The facts on the ground are changing, and the White House, this entire task force, seems to have made a dramatic shift, Katie, and they are now treating this not as a political matter, not as an economic matter, but as a public health matter first and foremost.
Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.